An age-old staple of French fashion is suddenly new again. Here's David Turecamo, our man in Paris.
In the south of France is a small museum dedicated to a hat, the beret, or beret. You know, that French hat you always see artists and, well, French people in general wearing.
Voilà, ça va très bien.
The French beret originated in the Pyrenees mountains about 400 years ago, and making one today draws on the same techniques that have been used for centuries. And yet, it's never gone out of style. It's the must-have accessory of this season, according to Lord & Taylor's fashion director, Stephanie Solomon.
It is the biggest trend we've seen in a long time in terms of accessories.
100 years ago, they were made on machines like this. Today, the machines are faster, but almost as antiquated. In fact, this one's almost 50 years old.
And they're the ones that replaced this. So prior to that, our factory actually had machines like this. Exactly the same.
Mark Sanders is the sales and marketing director for Lolaire, the oldest traditional beret manufacturer in the world. They're the last manufacturer in France to make berets the way they do.
In our heyday, we employed up to 350 people, and the factory worked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Well, Mark is Irish and is part of the new management team who took over about 4 years ago after the former owners filed for bankruptcy. But rather than let it close, the employees fought to keep the plant alive.
They spent their own money. They went and bought wool, brought it back here in their own cars, and they started making berets. It was very important for them not to let the machines stop.
But the machines are just hardware because the real work is done by hand.
C'est tellement artisanal qu'il faut des doigts de fée.
And though they'll produce about 250,000 berets in a year, it's a 2-day process just to finish one. Merino wool is knitted to produce this.
Looks like a large pizza before it's cooked. See there?
Then it goes through a process called felting that shrinks the wool and makes it soft and thick.
Wool is a living material and never the same, so we can put 400 berets in the machine at a time, but the time it takes to achieve the felting will change from batch to batch, so it has to be checked every 15 minutes, like a chef will do in a kitchen.
It's then dyed, stretched, and steamed to give it color, size, and form. Now, you see this machine? The drum is covered with abrasive metal brushes.
This machine here will actually scratch the wool to make the fibers stand up.
Once they stand up, they can be sheared on this machine to make the fabric smooth.
It really hurts our employees to know that French berets have been made in China or been made in India, and worst of all, sold in Paris. They're making sure that this emblematic product stays alive, stays French.
Alive and just as French as Brigitte Bardot.